it's Jasma, and today we are making oven-baked pork ribs. Ribs are a very popular dish in my family, and there are different ways of making it. There are soups, there are stews, and it can be baked in an oven. But today we are making a very easy recipe baked in an oven, and it tastes sort of like a barbecue. So let's get started. For the ingredients you will need 2 pork ribs about 3 pounds, 1 tablespoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of pepper, 3 tablespoons of ketchup, 3 tablespoons of oyster sauce, 3 tablespoons of honey, and some white roasted sesame seeds for garnish. First, preheat your oven to 275 degrees Fahrenheit. I have picked 2 very nice ribs. This is about 3 pounds, and I have washed it and dried it with a kitchen towel so that later on when we add the salt and pepper, it doesn't just slide off. And now we're going to flip this so that the bones are facing upwards. And we're going to grab a knife and just poke the little membranes on the top so that it cooks faster and it can really absorb all the flavor. When you're doing this step, you don't want to poke through the meat, just poke through the membrane on the top. And don't poke through the bones either, just poke the meat between the bones. That is done, and now I'm going to be doing the simplest seasoning with salt and pepper. You could use whatever seasoning you want. You could use cumin, garlic powder, or ginger powder, but I'm going to be adding about 1 tablespoon of salt and 1 tablespoon of pepper for both ribs because I will be adding more sauce later on and I don't want to make this too salty, but this is just a reference. It's up to your personal preference. You could add as much or as little salt or pepper or any seasoning you want. I have my baking sheet lined with foil, and I'm just going to place my ribs onto it with the bones facing up. I have some more aluminum foil here, and I'm going to cover this with a few sheets so that I can lock in all the moisture. I have covered this with 2 layers of aluminum foil and sealed it tightly so that it doesn't dry out in the oven. And now I'm going to place it into the oven preheat at 275 for 1 hour and 45 minutes. While the ribs are roasting, we are going to make the sauce. Now, you could go and buy barbecue sauce in a certain store or just whatever sauce you want, but I like to make the sauce myself. I have some oyster sauce, honey, and some ketchup, and they're all 3 tablespoons, but you could change it around. If you want it to be sweeter, add more honey. If you want it to be saltier, add more oyster sauce. So to make this, basically add them all together. And then just mix it all together. The sauce is done. It is quite thick. And now since the ribs are going to roast for 1 hour and 45 minutes, you could just set this aside and do whatever you want. My timer has went out for 1 hour and 45 minutes, and now I am taking off the aluminum foil so that we could get rid of the fat inside. And this is very hot, so be very careful and wear oven mitts. My ribs are cooked completely and they smell really, really good, but we are going to dump out all of these liquids inside into a bowl. Now turn the heat up to 400°F while we brush on the sauce. I'm going to brush on a layer of the sauce onto both sides of the ribs, starting with the top. I have brushed on sauce for both sides, and now I'm going to put this back into the oven for about 5 minutes. Brush on another layer of sauce on both sides. If you like more sauce, you could brush on sauce for like 3 to 4 layers, but I'm just doing 2 layers today. Flip it over. And brush on sauce for this side as well. And put it back in the oven for the last 5 minutes. My last 5 minutes are up, and now I'm going to let it cool for 10 minutes before I cut it because I will totally burn myself if I cut it right now. My ribs have cooled down. It's no longer burning, but it's still hot, so I'm going to be using tongs to help me. And I'm going to start slicing my ribs. So cut between the bones, not through the bones. I have cut off all of my ribs, and this step is optional, but you could brush all the leftover sauce onto your ribs to give it more flavor. And then I'm going to garnish it with some roasted white sesame seeds. And this step is optional because it's just for garnish. And that's how you make oven-baked pork ribs. Even though it takes 2 hours to make this dish, the work that you need to do is actually really, really simple. And these are actually really, really juicy because the aluminum foil kept all the moisture inside it. And this is definitely one of my favorite dishes and probably all the kids' favorite dishes. So thanks for watching and see you guys next time. Bye!